Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in to the Young Merchant again, where we're interviewing entrepreneurs and go-getters, trying to give you guys an insider to different areas and industries. Today, I have a good friend today. We worked together in a previous career. We're on different paths, but we've both taken the journey of entrepreneurship. Today, we're with my friend Tyler Earley, and he's going to talk to us today about two businesses he has. One, he's the owner of Daniel Roberts Company, and he's also the owner of Daniel Roberts. I'm saying it right, Daniel Roberts Power Washing, right? So I'm super excited. We haven't talked in a while, but he's been pretty busy this summer and fall. So Tyler, just give everybody a little introduction about yourself, and then we'll get into it.
Hello, everybody. My name is Tyler Earley. Like David said, I'm the owner of Daniel Roberts Company, which is a clothing company that I had started about 6 years ago. I've been working on that for a long time, and then Daniel Roberts Power Washing is my newest business I started back in June, and I had just recently ended the season for the winter.
Okay. So you're definitely have two businesses. So that'll be one thing we'll talk about is managing both. But first, how would you say for your new business how did you get into power washing? And just tell us the story how it started, how business is going.
So how I got into power washing. So you interviewed Zach Sulpizzi, Steven's contract and owner. He was doing power washing on the side just randomly, one day a week on Saturdays. He was like, you really should try it. It's kind of like relaxing, like therapeutic almost. So he got me a power washer, just a little electric guy, 2000 PSI. He was like, just roll with it, see what happens. Kind of just put it up on Facebook Marketplace. And I got a couple jobs there, here and there. So I took it a little bit a step further. I went on to Fiverr, found somebody that would make me a Facebook advertisement post because that's what I was familiar with. And I did this special just to kind of see what I could do in a sense. So I did 3 services for $350. That was my special at the time. So driveways, siding, fencing, walkways, sidewalks, gutters. So I allowed people to pick 3 out of 5 or 6 things I was offering at the time. And so I kind of used that to kind of figure out what I liked, what I didn't like to do. And like I said, Facebook advertising just kind of blew it up. I do it 3 days a week. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So since I have a 3-year-old daughter, I wanted to spend the time that I had with her. And then I wanted to make the same money that I was doing when we worked back at the dealerships in those 3 days. So I was booking up 2 or 3 jobs every day that I worked. And I was booked from when I started from June all the way up to just recent of what are we in now? November. So at the end of October, so like I think the 28th is when I officially stopped for the wintertime. And then and it just killed it. I mean, I upgraded equipment as I did it. So now I'm up to a gas power washer. Now I'm shooting houses from second stories. I mean, from the ground. Without having to get a ladder, because like I got like basic equipment to get me through everything, but like I just kept upgrading, and it just made me better. And then what's it called? Probably 2 months in, the 350 special kind of started to die down a little bit, so I came out with a new one where I would just do siding, just cleaning your siding for $295, and I was able to do 3-4 houses in a day instead of 2.
Wow.
So, and then I was just booked between 5 to 9 houses every week for the last 5 months.
So you haven't lost the
4 months.
Salesman. You still got the salesman. You got the salesman.
Yeah, and what was nice was I didn't have to negotiate the price at all because I put it in the ad itself. Yeah. So people knew exactly what price they were paying, and I just had to book it. So It just made it super easy.
So, I mean, that's just crazy. And a lot of people, when they start businesses, I've tried other things and it doesn't happen that way. So definitely, commend you. I hope that's the right word for that, just applaud you for just starting out, just going forward, and then just blowing that thing up. As far as for people that are thinking about starting a business, what made you like? What was your motivation, I guess, and what got you over the line to just go out, just put the Facebook ad up, the first one?
Just to get out there. So I actually got kind of a crazy story.
Okay.
Whether I should really tell it or not,
Zach said you had a story.
but whatever. So I was working at Nissan, right?
Okay.
I went and worked at Nissan for a little bit because I was getting into real estate. Like I was doing my test, all that stuff as well, just like you were. But like I kind of lost motivation to take the test because like I failed it twice, and then I was like, I have such ADD when it comes to studying, and I'm so bad at tests. So like I kind of lost motivation to really do it again. So I was going into Nissan because I wanted their database of their customer base. So what I was doing was I was taking all the emails, phone numbers, and addresses of these people to use as like my database for my e-commerce clothing store and for real estate.
That's actually what I was about doing, but I couldn't get access when I was at Subaru. I all those clients you have and stuff.
Right. Well, Subaru, they're not as tech savvy as Nissan was. Like they watch every single thing. Subaru, I would sit around and do nothing half the time or disappear for hours at a time. Nissan, they watch you like a hawk. Watch you like a hawk. So like they even follow you on what you do on the computer.
Wow.
Which is crazy. So they ended up catching me about that. And so I had to resign from my position as the salesperson there. So I immediately went into DoorDash. I was DoorDashing that day that I left. And I was making $500-$600 in that same 3-day increments. And that's when it started my 3-day work week. And I didn't want to give that up.
Yeah.
And I'm doing all this. My parents just think, I got laid off. They think I got laid off. So I'm collecting unemployment, which is not true at all. I'm doing the DoorDash. Then I get hired at this pizza place because my dad likes to send me into jobs incognito, kind of learn about the business because we opened up a pizza place.
Okay.
So he wanted me to learn all how to make the pizza dough, all this other stuff. So I was working at a pizza place for a while. I didn't like it really, so I quit. Went back to DoorDash for a bit, and then that's when Zach was like, "Why don't you just try power washing?" So what I really have to say to people that really want to get into a business is just kind of just go out, do your research a little bit, and just dive headfirst into it. Because there's nothing better than field experience, I would say. I learned so much from just doing it. What works, what doesn't work, how long something takes, what doesn't work. So like I can get an idea of what I like, what didn't work, and stuff like that. And join groups on Facebook because there's tons of groups. Like I'm in a power washing group, and it's a bunch of newer people that are looking to get into it, and they're asking questions, and their questions, like I'm learning from their questions, and other experienced people that are in the industry just answering it. Like this is what you should do, kind of look for, and what chemicals to get into. Because at first I didn't use any chemicals at all. Didn't use gasoline, nothing. Like I said, I used an electric power washer. So I got into more chemicals, and I realized how much faster I was doing a house. And so I was able to do more houses because how much faster I was getting. And equipment that I was acquiring. So for anybody that's really wanting to get into power washing in general, just do some research, get on Facebook groups, ask some questions, and then go on Fiverr because like you heard me say, it was $5 for an ad. That's dirt cheap. And just launch it. I was spending $1,000 a month in advertising.
Yeah.
So I would advertise for 2 days, and that would fill up my 3-day week.
Wow. That's what I've been pushing for. So with my book, that's what I use Fiverr. I use them. What I did was, like you said, it was dirt cheap. So what I did was for the book cover, I just shopped a couple different people. Like I had 4 or 5 people do different covers, and they got paid, so they didn't care. And I just picked the one that I thought was best for what I was looking for. So Fiverr is definitely a good resource that I think, whether it's an ad, it's I think some people will do like video marketing or something for you. There's a lot of different stuff on there.
Yeah, Fiverr I've used a lot, and I have specific people that I go to now
Mm,
because I just liked how their work was, and they understand exactly what I'm looking for.
mm,
I mean, I've had some bad experiences where I had to cancel orders. Like
mm,
recently, I've canceled orders
mm,
for the clothing because I was getting ready for the social media aspect. Like I was hiring a manager to
mm,
do my social media page, but I kind of just took that over myself. But
mm.
I've been kind of busy, so I can kind of lacking on that aspect.
Let's transition to the clothing business. I don't know. I don't think I told you, but I actually almost did one last year. I canceled. I just, I'm always in some. So I was like, okay, you're in 3 things already. Let's just hold your
Slow
horses.
it down for a little bit.
So I have
But
clothing that I wear that nobody's seen that I have. And I've had, I just, I think I'm going to call it quits on that. But, for those, clothing line is a lot of people that they try to do it and then they fail. I know
it
you were
is
doing,
very, it is very hard, very
you,
hard.
yeah, you were doing this before. I mean, I know we've been doing, I don't know, 3 years maybe or something. You were doing this before that. So what would your advice be? How have you stayed in the clothing line business for so
Uh,
long?
so I've been in it for 5 or 6 years now, and it's the designs of everything has just changed. Because like when I first started, I saw the company 8080, which is a clothing company slash sweepstake company that giving away modified cars. So like they're now they're up to like Lamborghinis, GTRs, Ferraris, but like they started with like the R34s, the R32s, like the original Supras,
Mm,
RX-7s, and all that stuff. And I was like, and there's like hundreds and hundreds of people commenting and liking all their posts and stuff like that, how they're spending all this money on their site just for a chance to win. And I was like, why can't I do something like that? I was
mm,
like, so if they can do it, why couldn't I?
mm,
In a sense. Um, so that's when it first launched the idea back in 2017. And I had bought equipment like heat presses, vinyl printer cutters, all that stuff. And I was hand doing at first, like kind of make my own clothing. I bought a bunch of like inventory to kind of print on it. And I realized how slow it was.
mm,
So I went into finding something that is a print on demand
mm.
company. So like right now I use Printify, I think it's called
Okay.
Printify.
Okay.
Um, and they hold all the inventory for you. They have all the, you know, vinyl or screen printing materials that you need to make a clothing company. So
Mm,
like you just upload your design. So like I'll create it off of Illustrator and Photoshop, kind of make it crisp images, and also Fiverr,
mm,
finding people that will make my logo and all that stuff. Because I think you said you reviewed my site recently, and
mm.
you saw the new logo. From where it started 5 years ago and where it's at now is night and day. Like I would have never thought I would get to this part where I'm at now,
Mm.
where it's like more designer. I think it's more designer look. It's more of like that Calvin Klein.
Yeah, that's exactly the inspiration I saw when I saw it. That was spot on what I think is going for. You had a lot of options on there too, which I think a lot of, I don't know if that's over time or if it's like something that you've been looking to do, but I mean that was one thing I noticed was it wasn't just like two looks. Like it was a lot, and you have men's, women's, you have kids on there, you have accessories on there, you have like a lot of stuff on there.
Yeah, so I've what's nice about Printify or even Printful or even the other print on demand companies, they have so much stuff on there that you can go through and pretty much drop your logo onto.
Mm,
So like I'm thinking, like I'm going around looking at stores, like seeing what I see in stores are I think that would sell, like insulated water bottles, sweatshirts, your t-shirts,
Mm,
women's leggings,
mm,
um, bathing suits in the summer, and
mm,
then handbags. They
mm,
offer, the clutch purses, the little wallets, and then a weekender bag.
mm,
So like I wanted to go, like I was going for like more of that Calvin Klein look for
mm.
this new styling when I reinvented it.
Gotcha. And how would
I
you say? Oh, go ahead. My fault.
no, go ahead, go ahead.
I was gonna say, how have you? Because one thing I've been working on, so a lot of times like these interviews, I get stuff for me personally that it helps other people too, but I'm also really listening. Is how because you've had this website for a while. How have you had success generating traffic to your site?
Um, so right now that I just redesigned it, it is open, but I have not advertised it yet. I'm
Gotcha.
actually getting ready. I'm getting ready to do that
Okay.
within this week or so. So how I'm going to generate traffic is I have my ad. Um, so I'm sticking with the sweepstake company because I feel like that's like more enticing for people to kind of
Yeah.
draw in more traffic. So right now I'm kind of working with Zach right now with the home remodel because right now it's giving away a home remodel or 50,000 cash. So
Gotcha.
the winner gets the side a home remodel or 50,000. The home remodel is valuated at 150,000.
Mhm.
So I'm going to be using Facebook advertisement, Instagram, TikTok, and Snapchat as my social media platforms to
Okay.
drive traffic.
Okay. Yeah, I think well, a lot of people with the websites they work hard on the designs, like what they have, the product, but they struggle with getting the traffic, and a lot of people don't make that investment in marketing. So I want to say marketing is more important than the product, but I just feel like a lot of people that's where they're not willing to invest the money on ads or direct whatever direct whatever people use. They don't really take the time to look into that or invest the money into that, and then they wonder why they work for months on this awesome whatever it is, and they don't sell. So I definitely think it's cool that you did all that time to reinvent the brand, but at the same time you're putting the same amount of time and money into the advertisement as well.
Right, because I mean the marketing is the biggest part. I mean
Yeah,
you could put water in a glass jar and put it up on your website, but if you have the correct marketing, the people are going to see it as like, I don't know, example, Fuji water,
yeah,
the bougie water,
yeah,
you know. So I think the marketing is really what people need to focus on if they're going to launch a brand of anything,
yeah,
power washing, real estate, clothing, anything. I think the
yeah,
marketing is really what drives the sales. And if you don't have a professional looking advertisement or somebody, or at least hiring somebody that knows Facebook advertisement with like the back of their hand.
yeah,
So like that, I've been going back and forth with that because I've hired people before for a different business that I did for a little bit. Didn't work out, so I kind of cut ties with it because I was spending more money than I was bringing in.
yeah,
It was working, but I was losing money first.
yeah,
Um, so I mean, there's always going to be that trial and error, and you just got to keep trying till something sticks.
yeah. I think that's
Like,
too, like what you said about as far as like just like at least you didn't say, but you talk about it indirectly, is how you learn to like you seem like you really know when you can do something yourself and when you need to find somebody else to delegate it to. Do you think that's important that people aren't willing to do? Like they have to have their hands on everything?
right. I feel like, um, I mean, just look at power people. Like, I know people are probably going to hate on me for this one, but Donald Trump or Barack Obama or maybe even Biden, but they
Yeah,
have specific people around them to
yeah,
do different jobs that they can't do.
yeah,
Or Elon, or just say Elon Musk, he probably has, people around him
mm,
for things that he can't do. Or um, what's another person? Like I'm in a stock Discord that I pay for, but the owner of it has 4 other people
Okay.
around him that do different aspects of the stock market. So I feel like people need to kind of let go
Mm,
of the idea of them doing everything and fire themselves from that job
gotcha.
in a sense. Like hire somebody that knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
If you don't know, like if you don't know, surround yourself with somebody that does know.
Gotcha. Gotcha. And when we talk about, you mentioned stocks, I didn't know if you want to bring. I was going to ask you. That's something like a lot of people might not know, that you're also into stocks. Uh, I believe you date. I don't know if you day trade or if you do like long term investment, but what is some of the decisions that you look for, just generally, I guess, for people that are interested in investing in stocks? Because I think a lot of people when they're young, they should start investing in stocks because it's going to help out in the long run. What are some things that you look into or factor in when you decide on purchasing specific stocks?
Definitely the pattern. So like I study chart patterns a lot. Also in the group that I am, they do a lot of teaching of how to learn to read charts. So they kind of follow the trends, like
Okay.
like you can follow different patterns of how stocks are going, and you can pretty much almost predict like which way they're gonna fall.
Gotcha.
So like recently I was just in Tesla, which is
Okay.
a big company. I was in at 950. It was at 950, and now it recently exploded up to 1250. So a whole $300 jump.
Wow.
Which is it's unpredictable of how high stock can go up or down, because faster it goes up, the harder it will probably come down to correct.
Yeah.
Because if it jumps up too high and there's a gap, it's gonna correct. The stock market will correct to fill in that gap.
Gotcha.
So there's a lot of risk management that you have to do, because like you have to be able to hold. I would say if you're not gonna day trade where you're gonna be in for minutes at a time, like some trades I'll be in for 30 seconds to 2 minutes to 5 minutes to all day, you
Gotcha.
know. But if you're gonna do the long term kind of look, then you gotta have risk management. You kind of have to keep your feelings at bay, like because I've been down $5,000, $6,000, $12,000, but I held on to it, and it came back up and went back into the positive.
Gotcha.
So like sometimes you just gotta put it down and not look at it.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay. Definitely.
Because if you keep looking at it, you're just going to drive yourself insane. You're going to make yourself sick if you don't have that money management. Because like in the stock market, you got to pretty much have money. You're using money that you're essentially going to lose, just like going to the casino.
Yeah. Yeah. I definitely think it's something I've played around. Me personally, I've tried both long. Well, my definition of long term is probably not long term, but I've played around with the holding it type of thing. And I've also tried a little day trading. I definitely think it's like you say, you can't really predict how high or low, but I'm sure there's a lot of skill and there's things that you guys look for. People that have success with stocks and stock trading is, like anything else, you want to study what you do and you want to, make sure you're prepared and not just necessarily be guessing, flat out guessing for everything.
Right. So like I went like back during COVID times where everybody was home quarantined. I took the money that I got from unemployment, because eventually it ended and I was back to work by this time. So I had $7,000 kind of just sitting in my bank account, like just doing nothing. So I threw it into the stock market, threw it in Apple. A month or two goes by, really didn't do nothing,
Mhm.
and then it just exploded. I was following TikTok trends, funny enough, and I turned that 7,000 into 40,000.
Wow. Wow.
Um, just following TikTok, really, which is fun, kind of funny because you really shouldn't do that. But like, I was new to the stock market, so I was completely guessing, and like I was getting the high, of like watching this money just like grow so high, and I was like, man, if I can just keep doubling this every month, and like I'll just never work again.
Yeah.
Because I figured out if I can get to 100,000, then I can make 50 grand every month with that 100,000.
Yeah.
But truth be told, since I was so new and so, I guess I would say greedy at that time, that I did lose a lot of it.
Yeah.
Because I had the rush of, wow, this is going up so much and like so much money, and I've never had that much at one time. So like I guess I got greedy, and I was jumping around chasing stocks when I shouldn't have. So it's like a lot of management. You kind of have to control yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. I mean, that is an insane amount. I mean, that's one thing I do like about stocks. And you have the potential is crazy, the risk is crazy too. I'm a risk person, so I like stocks, but I can see how a lot of people can wake up one morning and just be in like the worst mood ever, and some people can wake up and be rich.
Right. Like going back to how I was saying I was in Tesla at that such early stage before it kind of blew up. Like I turned that 2 grand into 15,500 in a day.
Wow.
I got the high again.
Yeah.
So like whoever says money can't buy happiness has never made a lot of money and very quickly.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, something about just, maybe you don't want to survive on it necessarily every day, but it definitely does create that sense
Definitely not. Definitely not. Unless you're like somebody who's gonna study it and go above and beyond to learn every single aspect of it. Like the guy that runs the group is our age, but he's a millionaire, and that's all
Wow.
he does is trade stocks. And he says he makes about 20,000-30,000 a week.
Wow. It's crazy.
I couldn't imagine being on that type of level, but maybe one day.
Maybe one day. I mean, just striving for that and going forward, and like what you're doing. I do Facebook groups and stuff too. And they do help, even if you don't ask the question. Like you said, you can sometimes just read other people's responses because they might ask the question we're going to think about, and just talking to people. Facebook groups is a good way for you to connect with other people that you probably wouldn't be able to originally. Like, how would you meet the guy that's doing 20,000 a week without the Facebook group? So I've been pushing group for a long time to do Facebook group.
Facebook groups, TikTok, like follow that person on TikTok because they do free things on there, or they answer questions on the live if you want to talk to them live. Same with Facebook Live, Instagram Live. But yeah, for anybody that really wants to get into a business, I would say join Facebook groups and kind of learn about that interest of yours, of what you want to get into, and then dive headfirst into it. Because if you hold back, kind of get nervous about it, then you're not going to be able to make it. You'll just get eaten alive. You'll think you can't do it. You'll put doubt in your mind. Because I feel like even if you fail, you paid for a lesson.
Yeah.
Like my website, I feel like looks the best as it is for my clothing now than when it used to look like.
Yeah.
But like I took all those years of failing. Hopefully I don't fail this time, but never know. As lessons, because like I've learned so much about Shopify and all those different platforms, which ones I like the best, what apps to use. Like I follow people on TikTok that do drop shipping. And there's one guy goes over different apps that he recommends for your shop and stuff like that you should implement for your business.
I definitely think training helps, and like I said, the best trainer is definitely experience. And I agree with you, drumming first. That's kind of like what I live by. Is just I take educated jumps, risk takes. I did a little research at a certain point. I just say screw it. I just go for it, and then let experience teach me the rest.
Right. I mean, definitely read books. I mean, you read a lot of books. I've read a bunch of different entrepreneur books that kind of get me going. I have a list of them actually, of different books that I like that I've read, that you probably have read as well. Let's see. Bigger Pockets, 4-Hour Work Week, One Thing, Millionaire Real Estate, E-Myth, M. Gerber, I think that is. So Good to You, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, They Can't Ignore You, and all those different books.
I've read 3 of those. I'm gonna relook at this and definitely write those down so I can order. I'm a nut, so I definitely will be reading some of those.
Yeah, I'm for people that don't like to physically read books, like myself. I get them on like the ebooks, and I listen to them while I'm in the car driving. So like when I was doing power washing, instead of listening to the radio, I was listening to the books as I was driving from one appointment to the other, and stuff like that. Or if I'm just running errands, I'd have the ebook going and I just listen to it.
It's a good way of not managing, but doing 2 things at one time, too. Instead of versus the hours it would take you for afterward to go read it. Some other time you can listen to it while you're working, get some knowledge, and at the same time do your job. For anybody that wants to get your clothing or would like to, well, I know it's off season right now for power washing. I definitely will still, if you have any info for that, I will also drop that too. But is there any way that people, they want to connect with you, get in your merch, be able to get that?
Yeah, so like I said before, the shop is open. It's just not being advertised at the moment. So if everybody wants to go to danielrobertsco.com, every $1 spent on my site is 5 times entries to get entered in our first ever sweepstakes for the home remodel or 50,000.
Okay.
So check that out. And if anybody needs their home power washed, go on Facebook and search up Daniel Roberts Power Washing, and
Okay.
I will pop up towards the top, hopefully.
Okay.
We have currently about 4.5-star review.
Okay. Really
One lady gave me a hard time because it wasn't to her. She thought it was going to be like a 5-day process when cleaning a house takes an hour to 2 hours.
Sometimes, sometimes every once in a while you get one. This is just when you do reviews, everyone.
You can't make everybody happy, so don't stress for anybody that starts out on business as well. You can't make everybody happy, so don't stress about it.
Absolutely. Do you have, so I always ask everybody, if there's like one line or one sentence or one rule that you just generally live by for other entrepreneurs that maybe can think about it this week. Is there any personal or life advice or business advice that you like to live by?
One thing that I like to live by, that's kind of hard because I kind of change it up. I like to take one day at a time. Take it one step at a time. You crawl before you walk.
Gotcha.
So just get your knowledge, and you're gonna walk before you run, if you want to look at it that way as well. So learning new things, I'm like, all right, I need to slow down, learn, and then pick up my speed to where I'm going to be into a full sprint.
Well, I hope everybody takes that advice this week. I know that's what I try to do. Sometimes I have, you look at the visions and you just like want to go straight there, but there's baby steps. Like you said, you got to learn one thing before you do the next. And then next thing you know, time goes by, you're doing this thing and you're learning something else. So I hope everybody, that's watching this will take heed to that advice. I appreciate everybody tuning in this week. Tyler, it was a pleasure. We definitely will have to connect personally outside of this, but I appreciate you taking the time out your day. Also, best wishes out to your daughter. You guys have a great family. So I appreciate your time. If anybody here is watching this, you guys can see this interview or other interviews on the youngmerchantblog.com. We're also on Instagram at The Young Merchant. You can also reach out to me at theyoungmerchantblog@gmail.com. Otherwise, till next time.